Hello everyone, Rob here with California Hike and Bike. Today I'm going to talk to you about the 7Jurock windscreen that I replaced my stock windscreen with. So stick around, maybe something you need to know. This is a 2018 BMW K1600B Grand America series, and if you're here to watch this, it's probably because you've experienced some wind buffet on your bike in dirty wind, say when you're approaching the back of a big rig. If that's the case, that's the exact reason why I decided to replace my stock windscreen with this 7Jurock windscreen. It was a relatively simple switch out, basically just these 4 star nuts here that you have to remove. I did, and I'm not going to get into the actual installation, but I can tell you that one thing that I did, and I always do with almost everything that I screw back into the bike, is I use some medium Loctite to make sure that it stayed solid. So make sure you do that. Just a small bit on each one will do the trick. So in terms of sizing, what I did to size this, I first contacted the 7Jurock people. I believe they're in Southern California. I contacted them by email, and they sent me an email back telling me how to do some measurements. And I'm going to show you a picture right here. If you want to pause this screen and take a look at that, it's the instructions straight from the manufacturer. So that said, I didn't use the instructions. I didn't have a lot of time because I was getting ready to go on a 10-day ride to Yellowstone and back with Liz, my fiance, soon to be my wife. And I wanted to make sure I got this in before, and I was able to install it before our trip. So I just kind of winged it, frankly. The 7Jurock people told me that most people that are 5'10", 5'11", I'm 5'11", and I have a Russell Day-long seat, which is about an 1 3/4 inches, I believe, above the stock seat. So there was some dynamics to the measurements that were not quite standard, and that's basically what the 7Jurock people alluded to. So what I did was, because I'm 5'11", and because I was raised a bit upwards with the Russell Day-long, I decided to go with what they said. They said that most people 5'11" go with a 22 to a 24-inch screen, and on top of that, I wanted to subtract about 2 inches. So basically what I did was I went with this 20-inch screen, and it turned out to be perfect for me. So you know, everybody's a little bit different. I would use the instructions that they did. I got lucky, and I was just taking a chance to get it in very quickly. But use those instructions and it should work out good for you. So again, this is a 20-inch 7Jurock windscreen. It's also in the light gray tint. I didn't want to get it darker than that, and I didn't want to get it lighter than that as well. There is a sweet spot that I will tell you, and you have to find that for yourself. In my old windscreen, I had to rise it all the way up to get rid of as much dirty air as I could using that windscreen. But in doing so, I had to look through the windscreen to the road, and that was my view. It was through the windscreen. Not the case with the 7Jurock. I actually look right over the windscreen to not only the road in front of me and the high horizon when I'm looking ahead in traffic, or to watch for traffic. And what I can tell you is that when I was testing this and rising the screen up and down while I was at speed, with and without my passenger, I wanted to check and see where that sweet spot was, where it seemed like it got rid of most of the dirty air. And when I say dirty air, I'm talking about coming up and over my helmet, into my helmet and over my helmet, and then also on the sides, which mostly affected my passenger. And I can tell you that for both of us, it was about 1.5 inches lower than the the uppermost setting. So I actually keep this not at the top setting, but about 1.5 inches below that. And what it does, first of all, Liz, my passenger, said that it pretty much got rid of all of the air, the dirty air. Not quite all, but pretty close. She said probably about 80% got rid of the dirty air on the side. And that's a good thing, because if she's not there, it also is going to affect the dirty air hitting the top trunk, which I believe is part of the problem with the Grand America and the wind buffet that you experience with the Grand America. For me, if I put it all the way up, strangely enough, I had more air pushing my helmet and creating a lot of wind noise, wind buffeting. And so when I lowered it down about 1.5 inches below the uppermost setting, that was the sweet spot where it eliminated a lot of that dirty air that I had up at the top. Now, compared to my standard screen, the stock screen that came with the K1600B GA, I would say that it was probably at least about a 20% reduction in the wind buffet. It's still there. I don't think you're going to ever get rid of all of it. And just for perspective, by the way, I'm coming off of, when I bought this 3 years ago, I owned a 2016 R1200 RT. And that thing absolutely cuts through dirty air like a hot knife on butter. It was amazing. And frankly, when I first bought this bike, I had a little bit of buyer's remorse when I got on the freeway and got behind a big rig, because you feel it. You definitely feel it. If you're not coming off of a bike like that, it may not be as pronounced as it was for me, but it was definitely there, and it still is. But I still love the bike, so I'm not gonna blast the 2018 K1600B because I love it, and frankly, I'd buy another one. But the wind buffet is a real issue, and I would say this 7Jurock reduced it for me, the driver, by about 20%. Liz, like I said, she said it reduced it, especially on the sides, because she didn't really feel it at the top. She reduced it, she says it reduced by about 80%. So that is pretty much it in terms of this windscreen. I definitely think it was worth it. We got this right before, and I installed it right before we did a 3,400 mile 10-day trip from here to Yellowstone and back. And it made a big difference. And you know, when you're experiencing that kind of wind buffet, it will wear on your arms and your body and your mind when you're paying attention to what it's doing to you and the bike and how it affects the handling. So a 20% reduction, it helped. Now, in addition to that, I also got the arrow wings. I don't know if you can see that over here. I'm going to bring this over. So the arrow wings right here. I also installed and I did the testing on the 7Jurock prior to the installation of these. So I'll link in the bottom. I'm going to do a short review on the arrow wings. It'll be quick and easy, and you can hear what I did with those and what my experience was. So I hope you got at least one little tidbit out of this short review. You know, this is a brand new channel. If you appreciated this video, or if you like any of my other videos, please click the like button and subscribe. I'm a brand new channel. I'm trying to build it at this point, and your subscription and your like on this video will help me greatly, especially with the algorithm. So safe riding, have a good time, take care.
To the